What is going on, people? It is the Witch Doctor, and I am doing my Pokemon team tag. No one tagged me, but I wanted to do this because I thought this was really cool. And normally I would only do tags if people actually tagged me in it. But I think I did a tag before. No one tagged me in that one either, so I decided to do it anyways. So that's how it's going to be for this one. Really quick, guys. I will tag people at the end, but right now I don't want this to feel like I'm only tagging people. I want everyone that watches this to answer these questions in the video and comment down below your answers, because I would love to see all your answers. I don't want this just to be for the people that I tag. I think everyone should comment down below or have an opinion on their favorites and stuff like that, whatever the questions are in this tag. But yeah, answer them down below, please. So without further ado, let's get started with the first question. And this question was actually really hard for me. It is, what would your trainer class be? And man, I thought about it, and it took me a while to finally come up with an answer. But originally I wanted to be a Hex Maniac because those are like my favorite trainer classes in the game. But I for some reason I thought there was a male Hex Maniac, and there isn't. It's only females, I believe. And I then started looking at the trainer classes, and then I remembered one class that I liked a lot back in the day, which was in Gen 1 and 2, which is the Pokemaniac class. That's who I would be, because I actually love dressing up on Halloween and stuff like that. I like dressing up whenever I get the occasion to. So fun. I go to like anime conventions and stuff like that. I just like dressing up. I'm weird. But that's definitely what I would be as a Pokemaniac. I don't know if I would go full-fledged into those like dino suits, but my favorite Pokemaniac artwork was definitely the Gen 1 sprite and the Gen 2 sprite. And I really do like the 3rd Gen sprite as well. Those three are definitely the ones I would probably resemble as much as I could. Mainly more of the 1st Gen one, because I actually have long hair right now, and I could probably pull off that hair if I wanted to right now. That's how long it's gotten. And yeah, that would be my trainer class. Number 2, how many Pokemon would you have? I'd probably only have 6, because that is like I would just have 6. Yeah, because I forgot. It ties into the third question. The third question is, why do you choose that number of Pokemon? And I was about to say it in the second question, but then I realized the third one also asked that. So that's why I cut myself off there for a second. But anyways, why I would have 6? Well, because if I moved somewhere else, because this ties into the fourth question, if I moved out of Chicago, that's where I live right now, I would have 7. But I don't see myself moving anytime soon, or anytime in the near future, or at all. I don't know. I like being stationed. I'm not a traveler, to be honest. I really don't like to travel too much. So I would have 6, because that is the amount that you can carry on you. If we're actually making this like a real world kind of thing, and Pokemon that you can have in the real, like in your real day-to-day life, I wouldn't want to have some in the PC, because I'd feel as if I would be picking favorites, and I don't like that. I rather have the 6 that I would use with me every day, or stuff like that I can interact with, and not have stuff in the PC. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Number 4. This was definitely the harder one, and it took me quite a bit, because I literally picked just nothing but my favorites, and I just I don't know. Like it took me quite a bit to do this, because this honestly was like the hardest part of everything, was picking the mons. But let's get right to it. Which Pokemon would you have on your team, and why? So that's the fourth question. I think I said that already. But my videos are never professional, guys. Just letting you know. I think it's because I don't care. That's how I am. Everyone makes mistakes. Number 1 is Bulbasaur. Why? It is my favorite starter of all time. I love Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur was my favorite Pokemon back in Gen 1, because that's when I first started playing Pokemon. My first game was, I believe, Pokemon Yellow, and then I bought Blue or Red later on, and I didn't get Pokemon right away. I saw other people have it. I was mainly into the show and the Pokemon cards back then, and then my brother actually got me Pokemon Yellow, or my mom, no, my parents did. Yeah, my parents got me Yellow, and yeah. So Bulbasaur has always been my favorite one back then, like in Gen 1, because I didn't really have too many favorites in Gen 1. Gen 1, I could only probably name 6 that are my favorite from Gen 1 out of the whole 151. But Bulbasaur has always had a special place in my cold black heart that, I don't know, whenever I get the opportunity to pick Bulbasaur, I always try to. And I would probably keep it as a Bulbasaur, because I'm not saying I wouldn't mind if it became an Ivysaur or Venusaur, but that's the reason why I put Bulbasaur instead of Venusaur, because I like Bulbasaur as Bulbasaur. So definitely, if Bulbasaur stayed the way he was, I would be okay with that. Number 2, Sandslash. Again, another Gen 1 Pokemon that was one of my favorites back then, which was Sandslash. Sandshrew and Sandslash, I love both of them so much. But ultimately, I would love a Sandslash. I think Sandslash would be so cool to have around the house just to see it walking and stuff like that. That'd be pretty dope. But why I like Sandslash is because I had a Sandshrew back when I played Blue, because I never had it in Yellow. And back then, I didn't know what Pokemon evolved into what. So I saw Sandslash in Yellow version when I was playing, and I was like, oh, that looks so cool, I want it. But I didn't know how to get it. And I finally got to get a Sandslash of Sandshrew in Pokemon Blue. Yeah, I believe that's where you get it in Blue. I got him in Blue, and then it took me forever to train this thing up, guys. Like, it took ages to finally evolve this thing. And then when I finally saw it evolving, it turned into Sandslash. I'm like, so that's how you get it. And I was blown away. I was so happy. I loved it so much. So that's why I'd have Sandslash in number 2. Number 3. These are not in any order, by the way. Number 3, Spinarak. There's something about Spinarak that I always thought was the most adorable thing. And I don't have a huge fear of spiders. I think I'd only be scared of like really big ones. Like little ones I don't mind. But I don't even think I'd be even that scared. I'd be startled. Like, oh, that's a big ass bug. That's probably the way I would look at it and probably go about my day. And Spinarak has definitely been a mon that I like a lot, because I remember seeing it in the anime and I thought it was so cool. I love the Johto series. And then I got one in Pokemon Silver is what I had. I had a Silver version, and I got it at nighttime, which I fell in love with Spinarak, and then Ariados too. But I would love a Spinarak more than Ariados, because I think Ariados is pretty big, and my house isn't too big, so Spinarak definitely what I would want. Number 4 we're back in Johto again, because Noctowl. Noctowl is like my favorite flying Pokemon. And it's another one that you can only get at night, and it is so cool, because back then I was also really into the whole dark thing and stuff like that back in the day. Still am, but not like how I was back then. I was like a little nut when I was a little kid. A little nut. That sounds so weird. But Noctowl, definitely, because I love Noctowl so much. I love owls. Owls are really, really cool. And I'm still not picking Decidueye. I'm still picking Primarina. That's the one I want. But owls are definitely probably my favorite birds, next to ravens or crows. I don't know. But Noctowl definitely on this list, because almost any game that I can get a Noctowl in, I end up getting one. Like, it's not even by, like, I don't want to get it. Like, even if I tell myself I'm not getting Noctowl, it just somehow ends up being on the team. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, Noctowl. I love Noctowl anyways. Alright, number 5. We are going to Gen 3 now. Bayonet. I got you guys. You thought I was going to be Sharpedo. Bayonet is definitely my favorite ghost Pokemon of all time, next to Miss Magius. But Bayonet, I always loved the little stories behind Bayonet. I remember the first time I saw it when I played Sapphire was the first one I got from Ruby and Sapphire. Yes, Sapphire was the first one, and then I got to the Elite Four. I saw Shuppet, and I thought Shuppet was really cool until it killed one of my Pokemon with Curse one time when I was trying to catch it, and I was so mad. So, Bayonet I saw in the Elite Four, and I was like, holy crap, this thing looks awesome, and I wanted it. So then I actually kind of took a guess that Shuppet evolved into Bayonet because after, well, I knew because after I lost to that member, I lost a lot to that Elite Four back then as a kid. I don't know why, and I looked in the decks where I can find it. I couldn't find it anywhere, but then I saw that Shuppet was right underneath Bayonet, so I pretty much put two and two together and like, so that's how I get it, and that's how I got it. So Bayonet definitely from one of my first experiences in Gen 3 was one of the reasons why it's on this list because I love Bayonet and it's my favorite ghost. The last and final team member, guys. I know what you're thinking. You should already know the answer. It's Arbok. You're like, what? No Sharpedo? Well, here's the thing. I looked at this as if it was my everyday life kind of thing. If I still lived in the place that I live now, and honestly, as much as I would love to have a Sharpedo, I probably couldn't because, again, like I said, if I'm looking at this like if it feels like a real life kind of thing, if it's my everyday life to life thing, I don't live. That's why I said 7 earlier because the 7 Pokemon would definitely be Sharpedo, but I don't live in an area where I can easily access water. I would have to go to the beach, and sometimes the beaches are always like they're closed during the winter time and stuff like that. The water's frozen around here most of the time during winter. I wouldn't be able to actually interact with my Sharpedo, and that would be the main thing. I'd like to interact with all my Mons that I would have, and Sharpedo I wouldn't be able to do that. Not here, at least. If I moved somewhere else, if I went back to my country, which is in Puerto Rico, I would definitely have it, hands down. But Arbok is my second favorite animal in the world, which is snakes. My first is sharks, and second is snakes. I love snakes. I've had about 3 snakes in my lifetime, and I've always enjoyed having them. So Arbok is definitely on this list because in Gen 1, I loved Ekans, and then when I saw Arbok from Jesse and James, like, well, mainly Jesse because James didn't have it, but her Ekans finally evolved into Arbok. I was like, oh, it's a Cobra. I was losing my mind. And I love Arbok. And I don't really get to use Arbok as much as I would want to, but definitely up there in the top 6 of Gen 1 Pokemon. So Arbok is definitely something I would want in my real life day-to-day thing because I think it'd be something cool to have around the house, even though my mom would be scared to death. She's not scared of snakes, but I think a snake that big would probably scare us. I think anyone would be scared of a snake that big, but Arbok is definitely one that I would love to have. That would be my final one, because obviously I don't live in an area where I can have a Sharpedo. So that's it for the tag, guys. I am quite sad that I can't have a Sharpedo. And if you're wondering why Houndoom wasn't on this list, because if you guys were for some of my later subs, Houndoom used to be like my little mascot, but I was kind of, it was more towards the witch doctor kind of voodoo phase that not phase, but like more of like the stereotypical witch doctor kind of thing with skulls and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm not really about that. I look at the witch doctor the way that I explained before my origin story, which is actually a medicine man and not this, you know, voodoo kind of thing that most people would suspect the witch doctor to be, even though I am into that kind of stuff. Joking, not really, don't worry about it. Anyways, yeah, so on to the people. Alright, I'm tagging 4 people. I'm tagging Kenny, Slur, oh wait, Super Slurpreem, I'm sorry, White Mike, and Poledoo. You 4, I tag you guys in this my Pokemon team tag, and do it when you can. I don't know. Don't ask me when it'll be done, but yeah. Anyways, guys, make sure to comment down below what your answers to these questions would be. And darkness.